infant mental health's been a recognised field of research and practice for about 30 years. And I think if we look back over, we can still see how much we would like to happen. But if you look at the changes in the way in which we understand infants, their potential, the importance of the early years, and also all the evidence about early brain development, but also of the infant as social and ready for connections and relationships right from the start, then I think you'd say there have been a lot of developments.
So with Karitane, our vision is to have safe and nurtured children being brought up within not just their families but also their communities. So it's about building not only the strengths of a child or a mother but the community as a whole to be able to help raise that child and ensure that there's not just one person that child needs to depend on, that there is more services and more procedures and more people that child can rely on to help with their upbringing, no matter what stage they're at, whether it's, you know, assisting a mother with initial nutrition, or whether it is, you know, the safety in attending school or the developmental stages, and assuring that if there is a problem that we can address that and we can identify that and we can help that family move forward.
A lot of the foundation really for lifetime health is to a large extent set in those first 4 or 5 years of life. And those early years are really critical for the strength of the relationship between parents and their infants that will continue to support infants throughout the whole of their development. About a third of adult mental health problems can probably be attributed to adverse experiences early in the life of a child. So the scope for prevention and the science of prevention that's emerging around this is really very powerful.
It's crucial that we as a government, as community representatives, not-for-profits, everyone in the community work hard, work clever, discuss ways that we can help families who may find themselves in difficult situations or in a period of struggle. Many women and many men begin the journey of parenthood, and I have to say that personally it was an absolute shock. I was a late mum, had my daughter at 36, and up until that point was a very independent individual and had no idea what I'd just stepped into, and it's a one-way door. So once you become a mum, that's it. You can never ever go back.
The 3 areas that we've targeted have been how do we integrate services so that services that are easily approached by parents with difficulties with their kids, such as the parenting services, have an adequate mental health understanding, capacity and workforce to respond to their needs. Secondly, we're talking about how do we build the coalition that can continue to promote and expand the services in this field, because they're so badly needed, to make sure that people can get access to services. And then thirdly, how do we make sure that prevention is actually happening everywhere we go in our services, be it in parenting services, being in mental health services, being in other services, and the prevention of transgenerational transmission of problems in families begins to be addressed upfront and effectively.
Many of the kids we talk about with attachment disruption or with relationship trauma, for example, that Rebecca sees regularly at Evolve services, meet criteria for diagnoses of infant mental health disorders. We do not make them. We do not use that leverage for funding and other things.
The challenges actually are they're not about, is this a legitimate body of practice? Are people interested in it? Do people want to train in it? Do people want to work in it? All of those things, the answers are very clearly yes. Is there a need for it? Very clearly yes. So it's more about where does the funding come from? What do services look like that are always spanning different sectors, different disciplines, and are so involved in working with families and working generationally. So we're always working with parents, and we're thinking about infants and young children. But we're also thinking about the way in which both risk and resilience get passed on in families. And parenting, child rearing, early relationships are a really big component of the way in which that resilience and strength and health and well-being, as well as vulnerability, are passed on.
just thinking about what we offer to families and hearing from other clinicians and other people who are working on at management or service development levels about what's happening here in Australia. I think I would be really interested to hear about the diversity of different approaches and programs that are offered to families in that early intervention space, and how that might inform what we can do in New Zealand as well, and what some of the similarities and differences might be. I think we have different populations, but also similar cross-cultural and ethnic diversity as well. And I'll be really interested to hear from everybody about what they're offering families and how that's working and what kind of outcomes are being achieved.
The match has been a terrific opportunity, I think, to really get people together from a range of different services in different states. And I'm always struck when I come to something that's national about how different services, how we have quite a different service system in each state, and we really don't get as many opportunities as I think would be really helpful to share our knowledge and information about what's working and what's not working.
We talked a bit this afternoon about how to measure perinatal and infant mental health. It's a new field. It's got its challenges because you're not just looking at the mother or the father and the infant, you're looking at the relationship between the two. And we know that the quality of the relationship is the thing which is so important for the development of the infant's mind, its capacity for social, emotional functioning and healthy functioning across the lifespan.
I was excited that we were actually having the match because perinatal infant mental health is very interested in early intervention, and I think bringing like-minded people together and hearing other people's challenges and how they've overcome them, and also to be able to tell about the great work we do here at Karitane, because we're pretty proud of the service we offer to families, and we've seen a lot of great gains for families since we've been working in the parent-child interaction therapy model. Families that come to us are struggling and finding it difficult to manage some of those challenging toddler behaviours. Some of our families aren't enjoying their children, and to be able to put them in a place where they're going to see joy from their child is amazing. And it's a very short program really, because some families will be finishing within 6 to 8 weeks. With our older children they would go on to 10 to 14 weeks, but that's still quite a short program to get some significant results. We've done quite a few research projects here to show that it actually is an effective program, and we do see the changes in behaviour, and we also see confidence and parents telling us that they really enjoyed the program.
What's good about this match and meeting up is that we're getting the leaders in perinatal and infant mental health from Australia, New Zealand and from other places to talk about what's really worked in their services. This is an emerging field of mental health, especially of specialist mental health practice, but it's got a real toehold now in mental health, and there's an understanding of just how important early development is, how important it is to have sound, good, solid, high quality relationships between infants and their parents.
But overall it was really great to be able to meet in this way, to bring perinatal and infant mental health into the International Initiative for Mental Health Leadership kind of orbit, and to really hope that this is the first of a number of ongoing meetings.